So you think you know a lot about Rhode Island, huh? No, you don't. Not until you have read the latest from Roberta Mudge Humble, Rhode Island's historian and trivia expert and game producer and all of that. And she's back for yet another pre-holiday conversation. A great Christmas gift opportunity for you. Stocking stuffer, wrap it up, do whatever you want. Her latest production is called Rhode Island for the Native and the Naive. I'm in the latter category after trying to answer some of these questions. You'll see the evidence as we roll on. It is a pleasure to have you aboard. Thank you very much for joining my state of mind on this Friday evening. Let us go to the rundown. There are things to talk about, things to say, songs to sing. Unanimous approval? Yeah. And then King Tut, boom, 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 boom. Funky Tut, you remember? Laura remembers. Unusual press conference, yeah, don't you think? The CIA director yesterday. And what else do we have on page 2? This is a piece of data that may alarm you, and that speaks for itself. We're certainly going to miss him on the television, and of course I want to check in with your state of mind tonight. It's kind of a funny one in and of itself. Hey, it's Friday, man. We're always loosey-goosey on a Friday, right? All right, let's dig in here and talk about what's going on. Unanimous approval offered by the State Planning Commission for this albatross of a thing known as Rhodmap RI. Here's the headline, and the front page in the Journal, you see the almost a couple hundred people that were jammed into the administration building. And you know what? I give those people a lot of credit, pro and con. You know why? You can't park at the administration building in the state capitol. They actually design it so that it's a royal pain in the you-know-what for you to actually get to one of these public meetings. So when so many did, it was impressive. Here's a small snapshot of what went on.
It was a unanimous decision by the State Planning Council to pass Rhodmap RI.
I think it will set the stage for the next governor and for the next session of the General Assembly to really take significant steps to move the state forward.
The document is about 200 pages and analyzes how housing, transportation, and the economy could work together to improve Rhode Island.
This reeks of a socialist plan to me, and they are in denial of that.
Before the votes were cast, protesters rallied on the floor below where council met.
It's very interesting what happened here. A unanimous approval by the council, and they've named this thing Rhodmap RI, and we've done a handful of shows on it now here to try to explain it to you. And I finally deducted, did I say this to you before? That Rhodmap RI is kind of like the wrapping paper around a package, but when you open it up, you don't know what's in the box. And that had a lot of people troubled. Actually, the opposition has done a good job in figuring out what's in the box in their interpretation, calling it a social justice plan or social equity plan, social engineering plan. That's it. That's the one that scares everybody. And the people that actually made the plan have done a lousy job of actually telling you what's in the box with some kind of a brand logo or bumper sticker type of thing. So anyway, with everyone showing up and saying no, 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 they went yes, 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 and passed it. So we have a brand new economic development plan that is a social engineering plan or a little growth area, 18 of them in Rhode Island plan. Read it for yourself. And then comes along King Tut, dum, boom, boom. Don't you love it? Are you old enough to remember seeing Steve Martin do that routine? I don't know. It just came to me on the radio today. It really bothered me. You know, Nick Mattiello is the House Speaker. So he says in the newspapers today and on WPRO, talking to Gene Valicente, that this Rhodmap RI thing is now going to go on the shelf. And I'm thinking, you know what? This is a 2-year effort almost that these folks put in, spent $2 million of federal money. Now, I'm not sure I like the outcome myself, but even Mattiello stepped into the process 2 weeks ago and asked for it to be delayed until December 11th, but didn't say anything during the delay time. These guys pass it 26-0, and then he more or less says, well, it's on the shelf. It's this bifurcated government where we operate in silos, and the rest of us feel like we're nothing but hamsters on a wheel. Here he was, King Tutting on the radio.
Well, I'm not going to say the plan is never going to come before the House or the Senate in its totality, and we're never going to vote on it. The plan in total is just very general. It's got a lot of ideals, a lot of goals. And it's it's going to sit on the shelf as a document that the state looks at.
That's me having some fun on the radio with the funky tut boom boom. You know what? The buddies of mine, we put 5 kids in the car and went from North Jersey out to Nassau Coliseum in Long Island to see Steve Martin do that show one night. And as soon as we played that song on the air, I've been singing it all day, and so I hope it sticks on you. Walking around this weekend, funky tut boom 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 boom, King Tut boom 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 boom. I don't know. Anyway, let's move. Only Laura gets my sense of humor. Thank God she does. Jess is back there in her smartphone going, this fat guy going to be done with this show any moment now, I hope. Anyway, let's go to the CIA and discuss that, because that was one heck of an unusual press conference. CNN.com and the headline, John Brennan defends CIA after torture report, and he did. But if you looked at this snippet from CBS, maybe you don't get that impression.
CIA Director John Brennan says mistakes were made in the agency's interrogation of terror suspects.
They were harsh. As I said, in some instances, I consider them abhorrent. There is no way to know whether or not some information that was obtained from an individual who had been subjected at some point during his confinement could have been obtained through other means.
It's amazing what edits do. That was a snapshot, accurate snapshot of the press conference, but in truth, what the CIA director said is that these EITs, enhanced interrogation techniques, did result in some information that led to progress in the war on terrorism. What he's saying is he can't prove that they would have said what they said to us if we hadn't done it. And that's an important distinction. Look, this report is political and full of holes. Certainly there are things that need to be pointed out, but this is really nothing more than a document search. They talked to nobody about it, and I think it's a real blemish on our democracy policing itself. The CIA rarely speaks. The director rarely has a press conference, but felt he had to try to, bring some sanity back to the situation, and I thought he did well. Moving along here, football's future. Now, listen, I think we're all completely enamored by America's pastime. Oh, I thought that's baseball. Well, it feels like it's football these days, right? But Bloomberg.com published this report that says that. Here's the thing. I was kind of surprised by that, but I don't have a son. I have a nephew who plays high school football, and I do worry about him a little bit, concussions, injuries, that kind of thing. What we don't know, here's the graphic, just to make it easy for you. Half of the people responding to the survey said they would not let their son play. 43% said yes, and 7% are still trying to figure it out. What wasn't included is that a trend from a particular time? It was a snapshot poll. It doesn't bode well for the future of the National Football League in terms of new players coming up, but I guess if it's always been the case that half of parents are afraid to have their kids play football, everything will be just fine. You have any feeling about that? Let me know on State of Mind. Seriously, I'd like to get your call on that. We'll probably talk about it on the radio next week when we reconvene at WPRO from noon to 3. Alrighty, and finally, I just wanted to say good luck to Sean. You got to know that Sean Daly, seen here in a photo that was taken when he was 16, is one of the most colorful and contextual journalists that we have here in Rhode Island, and I'm going to miss his work at the end of this year. We're going to try to get him in and talk about his career. He's certainly a great conversationalist and a great guy to know on and off the air. I'm going to miss him signing off. Sean Daly, Eyewitness News. But hopefully we get a hold of him. In the meantime, your state of mind is important to me. I'd like to know what you're thinking. 228-1886 is the telephone line. Leave us a voicemail. State of mind at myritv.com. Facebook post, tweet at us, whatever is your pleasure. This was an interesting tweet that Jess found on our feed. It was nice to see you at the PC Friars game. I served you your Bud Light. Love your show. Thinking, what? And then I remembered, yes, I gave her my ID. And she looked at it and she said, don't you think, by the way, it's ridiculous that a man who's obviously looking like he's 53 years old needs to show an ID, but you show your ID, you even have to take it out of your wallet. And she said, well, most importantly, how is your state of mind? And at the time, I didn't get what she was talking about. And I turned around and went, oh, the TV show. Fine, thank you. I don't know, it's kind of funny. So I've connected the whole thing. Your state of mind is important to me. That was fun. When we come back, what are we doing? Oh yeah, Roberta Mudge Humble. She's got questions and answers about Rhode Island. I never have the answers. Stay with us. Roberta and I are chatting here. We're having a conversation. We're deep into it already. Here's her book. I mean, she hardly needs any introduction. This is Rhode Island for the Native and the Naive. You just keep churning them out.
Well, I like to churn them out because I like people to be dedicated to Rhode Island, enjoy Rhode Island, and learn about Rhode Island and some of the good things, because you know you have to deal with all these issues all the time.
Yes,
and we have political and economic issues. If we could solve those, then the rest would be pretty good.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's nice to see you. You're always looking wonderful. And how many years you been teaching English and writing now?
45 years, technical writing, oral communications.
Are they getting any better, the kids?
Yes, my engineering students are excellent. You know, we have some of the top engineering students in Rhode Island at CCRI, and no one teaches Cisco networking better than we do.
You are such a champion and a cheerleader for everything that you do. So what's in this book this year? I mean, this is, listen,
Game
the basics, listen, you've got you have a list of all your stuff online or something where people can find all your stuff?
Yeah, you can go to westerlyarmory.com or westerlyarmory.org.
All right, because I mean, last year, what did we had the trivia game, and what else did we have last year that we did? Oh, see? Jess did a good job. There's a potpourri of the Rhode Island stuff that you should be buying and getting and leaving in stockings and and what a great Yankee swap gift and all that stuff.
Well, it's a wonderful hostess gift too, and that's why I come out about this time of year. It's a good time to get these out. People will notice them more at this time of year, I think, than at other times of year. Don't you?
A hostess gift, meaning if you're having a little Christmas party, you have a few of these out or something.
Well,
like
sometimes you don't always want to take a bottle of wine, and there are reasons why you can or shouldn't, and you can take the hostess. Yeah, and yes.
That kind of thing.
And then you put
the
it on a
thing I never
table.
remember to bring, but my wife says, did we pick up anything? That kind of thing.
But if you put this on the coffee table, Dan, and then, you know, even if you just slide it in, and people go, oh, what's this? And they look through it. The next thing you know, you're talking, and you have memories, and you learn some things, and you go, oh, I remember that, and then and it leads to conversation.
Yes.
Very pleasant.
So, I don't know how you do it. How do you research all this stuff? And I mean, this is 50, 60, 70 pages of questions and multiple choice and puzzles and everything.
Scrambles and jumbles and crosswords, and there's some cryptograms and so on. So yeah, it's fun.
So like, do we have examples? We have examples. Is that what we do? We have.
Well, that's just the book itself. Yeah, we don't have examples up there, but.
Well, that's a question that's in the book, right?
Okay, that's one. Yes, approximately how many islands are a part of Rhode Island? What would you guess, Dan? You know how bad you are with trivia.
So bad. 12.
35.
Of course, you always pick the middle one. You got to be an idiot not to pick the middle one. 30. We have 35 islands.
Yes, we do.
Name them.
Oh, please, no. Actually, I don't think all of them are named because some of them, please. Yeah, you will, and you will get me. And I'm not an historian. I'm an English professor.
I think you're a historian.
Why, thanks, but no.
All right, you don't want that title?
No. I did apply for historian laureate just because I wanted Patrick Conley to have some competition.
All right,
he's much better at it than I am.
Well, I don't know who puts the kind of work
fabulous.
in. Name some of the islands that I wouldn't know. I mean, Aquidneck
Well,
Island,
Aquidneck, you know,
Block
and
Island.
Block Island are the two best known.
Okay, so
Rose Island. The Rose Island Lighthouse is on it.
Oh, right.
You know that.
How are you going to get past 12? I mean, that's why
Prudence
I thought
Island,
right?
Hog Island.
4, 5.
Well, I mean, you could go on forever.
Yeah, well, you better if you're going to go to 35. And are they all in Narragansett Bay? Are they
all? They're basically in Narragansett Bay.
And they're all named.
Yeah, and they're down. There's a couple on the south coast, but yeah, I don't think they're all named. That I don't know. That I don't know. Because some of them are so tiny they're not worth naming, or people have named them but they've changed over time. Like if you happen to own that island, and you may, because it's just a tiny little speck, then you get to name it.
Oh, and if you buy it, you can rename it.
Yeah, I came over the Newport Bridge. I was just over in Newport. The Tennis Hall of Fame very generously gave the Westerly Armory a showcase, a display case. They are renovating at the Tennis Hall of Fame, and they gave away all their showcases because they're old, but they're very nice. So we went to pick one up. So as I'm coming over the Newport Bridge, I'm looking, and there's an island. I don't know the name of the island, but there's several houses on it and so forth, and you wonder, you know, who lives there? How do they get all their supplies there? How do they deal? Who delivers the oil or the gas or whatever you've got?
I always worry if there's someone's got a medical thing or something. How the hell do you get off there? You know,
Yeah.
It's just, you know, it's what. You know
But then again, if you have that, you might have a gyrocopter or something. So.
Yeah, right. If you're rich enough.
Because if you look at the yachts in Newport, some of them have gyrocopters on them. So.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I mean, this is an infinite mind that we have on Rhode Island here. When we come back, a couple more questions. And so we just like shooting for yourself. Stay with us. You got to get this. One of my favorite guests, Roberta Mudge Humble, is here. By the way, these books need to be purchased because they benefit good causes. So.
There's a proceeds, a portion of the proceeds of this and all my books goes to the Westerly Armory. We've raised probably close to $100,000 with the different books and games. Some books like The Right to Crow, all the proceeds went there. And last year's Sing Rhode Island, remember that? How we were singing along? All the proceeds from that went to the Armory.
And Sing Rhode Island and all the stuff that Roberta is able to put together is on that table. That I mean, you have what? How many different items from your Rhode Island trivia fact?
About a dozen
project.
right now.
I mean, it's an enterprise, for heaven's sakes. It really is. And look at the work that you've done.
I never thought about it that way, but
well,
that's interesting. Yes,
it is an enterprise, and I think you are so wonderful because you're so committed to this Westerly Armory thing, because you think it's important, don't you?
I do. I wish the Rhode Island Foundation would support historic sites, though, because we can't have any brick and mortar money there for historic sites. We have over 19,000 sites on the National Register of Historic Places, which makes them all at least over 100 years old and older. And we all need help. We're all struggling. Every historic site. Now, I work particularly with the 18 historic armories of Rhode Island, and they all struggle too.
Are you worried that as we all get a little older, that the next generation is not going to give a hoot about the history?
Yes. Yeah, I do. One reason I kind of sneak into even to my courses, I sneak in one of my books usually for speech. I have them do a manuscript speech and they have to read from it and so forth. And they learn all sorts of things about Rhode Island, so I think that helps. And in technical writing, I have them outline and abstract a book. So, and that's kind of fun to do. And they get inundated with Rhode Island if they have me as a teacher.
So more content from the latest book. We've got another question or two here that I'm sure. The oldest monument in the nation to veterans is believed to be in Cumberland? In the country? All right, I'm cheating. I can't remember. I just didn't want me to be embarrassed as a Cumberland resident, but it's the 9-something? What is it?
9 Men's Misery Monument in Cumberland.
Where is that?
It's not far from...
Is it the monastery?
Yes.
Okay.
You know where the monastery is?
Yeah, that's where the library is.
Yes.
The 9 Men's Misery
Monument. That goes into a whole thing. Yeah, it was from King Philip's War. Yeah. There's a monument to King Philip's War back in the 1600s.
Now I'm embarrassed.
Well, I don't know everything anyhow. Well, I mean, look what you've got in Cumberland anyhow. You've got Cumberlandite, and people don't even know about Cumberlandite in Cumberland. So we need to get that word out. That's a wonderful rock. It's a state rock. One of my songs in Sing Rhode Island was to Cumberlandite.
How did that go?
You've got. Don't make me know. No, you're not
doing this to you.
No,
Come on.
I'll have to get it. No, we'll do that another time.
So anyway, listen. This reminds me that I got to have Roberta back, because I always do, for a longer form show about and play around with the content of this book, and hopefully we'll get that done in the next month or two. But for gift giving, and 'tis the season to be raising funds for important causes like the Westerly Armory, and to have this at your disposal. This is a great conversation piece, to have this kind of stuff, to play some, I wouldn't call it an adult game, but it's a good family conversation
Family-oriented
starter.
Game.
whether it's a cocktail event or not, I think it'd be a great, everyone get around and kind of think about what they do or do not know about the state of Rhode Island, including state laws. Which of the laws below was not originally placed on the books of Rhode Island as state law? And there's taverns, cook shops, and oyster houses cannot allow any patrons to get drunk.
Well, so much for that.
How did I find that out of the middle of nowhere?
Well, you know, I do too. Well, I do presentations around the state, and I do mostly state and national conferences. But I toured the United States with Little Rhodey also, and what people find fascinating too is some of the state laws I put in there. Like in Foster, they still have on the books the state law that if the dentist pulls the wrong tooth from your head, he has to have that same tooth removed by the village blacksmith. From his head, so yes.
Really?
And in Woonsocket, this makes you wonder why this law came about. You cannot remove icicles from a roof with rifle fire. Think about that.
All right, good to know. I'll sleep better tonight. Thanks for coming again.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, Happy
Merry
New
Christmas.
Year, and again, make sure you pick this one up, and all the stuff that you have put together to enrich our lives is found again at the website, which is?
westerlyarmory.com.
And where else?
Benny's. We have Barrington
Perfect.
Books, Books on the Square, Twice Told Tales in Patuxent. You'll find some neat little stores.
Right, thanks.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. One more thing. Stay with us.
Thank you.
Really, you got to get the book, Rhode Island for the Native and the Naive. Roberta does such a great job for the state. She loves this place. Hey, Monday, Professor Joe Camarano from Providence College will join us and talk about the president's executive orders. We'll have a longer form conversation. This guy's a great political science professor. And for those of you who are bothered by what President Obama has been deciding lately, this might give you some perspective. So it'll be a good learning lesson. You have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday on the radio on WPRO, live from noon to 3. Until then, thanks for watching.